Well, I believe a goal is something you can actually see the outcome of, right? Like I'm gonna make $1 million. So if you say I'm gonna go make $1 million, then you might actually see your bank account change, but that might not necessarily mean that you change. So if you have an intention, that's an inner, in the moment goal, right? And life can mirror what your intention is. So let's say you're feeling off. If your intention is, I'm here to grow, then feeling off might be okay, right? So if you say, my inner intention is to learn, my inner intention is to free myself, my inner intention is to whatever, that's what you are right now. It's a word that you can bring to you. It's something that's different. Many people don't realize they all have intentions, but they haven't created it themselves intentionally. So they might say, you know, I'm worried right now, and their inner intention might be to not have conflict. So then they're against that worry and they're actually scared. Right? So an intention is what I like to bring with me. My intention, like I actually have the word patience on my shirt. I love the word patience. Like if I'm doing, for instance, sometimes I'll do a juice fast, right? And I was 3 days into a juice fast and I actually stepped on the scale and gained weight. And if my intention was results, I'd be really pissed because I didn't get any. But because my intention is patience, I stay with it and say, okay, I'm not supposed to just get results in 3 days, I'm supposed to stay with it. And then bigger results usually show up as a byproduct of you being that intention, being that space. So to me, an intention's way bigger because you don't know what the results are gonna be. But you change with an intention. You become a different person. You see the world differently after a while. So I don't like goals that much because goals are often created from you in that egoic state. You get what I mean? Like in the state you're in, like everything you're thinking right now, the biggest goal you can see for yourself still brings in your past story. So your past story might think, I'm someone, for instance, just to give a measurable thing, let's say you're someone who makes $20,000 a year and you want to create a goal for next year. So the biggest you're going to see is like, I'll make 30,000 next year. Yeah, but you're just this moment. What you and I and Oprah and Trump and anyone you can think of, we're all the same thing. Infinite possibilities, just heart, lungs, potential in this moment right now. And if you undo yourself from the old story, then you can change really fast.
I want to go back to what you said about the stories and the stories we tell ourselves, which really feels to me very foundational in your entire philosophy. And I've seen you on stage working with people to help them release their stories, which is really, really special and neat to see you do. And you want to talk about something that would give me heart palpitations. It's really neat. How do you help people break out of those stories? Like, what is the process?
Well, this might sound ignorant, but I believe all of our challenges that we have that we get triggered by are an illusion. I don't mean that like, so don't pay attention to them, because that's ignoring them. They still need to be felt and released. But almost everything that every person says, they can get to an energy where they're stuck in something and I can see the lie, I can feel the lie. So if someone says, whatever, I'm going through a massive stage fright right now, the first thing I have them do often is say, and I love that. And right away it loosens up. Right? They release it.
Is that because you're shifting their perspective on it?
Yes, not only am I, in my opinion, shifting their perspective, but I'm taking them to what's true. In other words, most people think the things that are temporary are the permanent things, right? The temporary passing, I'm going through a breakup. You don't understand that in a month you're gonna be okay. You think, when you're in a low, when you're feeling bad, you think that thing you're feeling is how you're gonna feel forever, which is what makes it feel worse. You know what I mean? When you're in a low, you're like, this is my life now. This is it. Or when you're in a high, you also get extra high because you think, this is my life now. I've fallen in love with this person. So we're together forever and I'm always going to feel like this. They're the one. Then a month later, you're like, is this my life forever? and then it goes back and forth and you don't get that all of your emotions are temporary. They're passing things. But there is this thing in this moment right now that I feel is permanent. This thing that you can feel, just this silence, this space. I've had so many things that have shown up and left that I once thought were my reality, that it feels like parts of me continue to die and I allow them to die, right? So most of our pain comes from believing, I believe, that we should keep holding on to these things that are really heavy in our lives. Even in physical examples, like there's a lot of us that have an attic full of things, right? A lot of those things are things that your past thinks you should have, but they're not necessarily what your heart would want right now, right? Like, this is something I inherited, or I should keep this and one day show my kids, right? So to give you an example for me, I had a top Comedy Central special in 2006, and I was cleaning a couple years ago, and I found this huge poster from that. And it was something I'm so proud of, and I was like, should I keep this? And I was like, my mind comes up with a justification for why I should keep that. And I believe when your mind comes up with a justification, that means you don't want it. I don't justify to anybody why I do this for a living. I don't justify who my family is. I don't justify who my best friends are to anybody. But there are some of us that have situations like, well, I do not like that person, but they were nice to me that one day. I don't like, yeah, that job sucks, but I will get medical in 6 months, right? You're allowing yourself to lower yourself to your mind understanding why you're ignoring your body.